Aristophanes' Lysistrata is a sharp, satirical play from ancient Greece that remains astonishingly relevant. Set during the Peloponnesian War, the play imagines a bold plan devised by the title character, Lysistrata, to force an end to the seemingly endless conflict between Athens and Sparta. Her method? Convince the women of both cities to go on a sex strike, refusing intimacy with their husbands until the men agree to negotiate peace. The strategy sends both men and women into comic distress, filled with body humor, exaggerated, gender stereotypes, and an unexpectedly powerful political message about the cost of war. The bedroom becomes the bargaining table. In short, peace by pelvic embargo. What was the original controversy? In 411 BCE, Lysistrata wasn't just cheeky entertainment. It was straight-up scandalous. First, it portrayed women taking political control in a society where women weren't even legally people. Athenian women weren't full citizens, yet here they are on stage, organizing, strategizing, and withholding the goods like seasoned union bosses. Second, the method of protest, sexual abstinence, was both radical and deeply personal. Aristophanes wasn't just making sex jokes, he was politicizing desire, dragging bedroom politics into the public square. The idea that personal intimacy could be weaponized for social change probably hit ancient audiences like a spit-take of ouzo. Third, the satire didn't stop at gender. Aristophanes went for the jugular, portraying the military elite as incompetent and reactionary, more theater than threat. In a culture that prized military valor, this was not just edgy, it was potentially dangerous. The jokes had teeth, and those teeth were biting down on power. Modern controversy, then versus now. Fast forward to now, and Lysistrata still knows how to stir the pot, just in different kitchens. Some contemporary critics argue the play objectifies women, reducing them to gatekeepers of sex rather than full agents of change. Others take issue with the gender stereotypes, men as overgrown frat boys, women as manipulative moral compasses. Modern productions often find themselves walking a tonal tightrope. Is the sex strike empowering or reductive? Is the play feminist satire or just sex comedy in a toga? The answer, frustratingly, is yes. And then there's the real-world legacy. Lysistrata-style protests have made encore appearances in recent decades, including notable nonviolent sex strikes in Liberia 2003, Colombia 2006, and even among us protesters, as documented by Waging Nonviolence, Baker 2021. Depending on your perspective, that's either grassroots activism with ancient flair or the theatrical equivalent of using glitter to protest oil spills. Well-intentioned, maybe, but complicated. Historical context. Why Aristophanes wrote it. Aristophanes wrote Lysistrata during the Peloponnesian War, a years-long blood feud between Athens and Sparta that had ground down morale and decimated resources. Athens had just face-planted in Sicily. Public opinion was souring, and the whole city had major battle fatigue. Hornblower 2002. So Aristophanes did what all great comedians do when society is spiraling. He told a dirty joke with a moral backbone. He imagined a world where the people with the least official power, women, made the biggest change, not with weapons or votes, but with leverage. The fact that he got away with it says something about the power of comedy to slip past defenses. Consequences for Aristophanes. Unlike today's political satirists who risk cancellation, or worse, Aristophanes didn't face jail time. But he definitely made enemies. His earlier play, The Clouds, earned him a public feud with Socrates, which, I assume, was the ancient Greek version of a subtweet war. While we don't have a record of Lysistrata leading to arrest, it likely didn't earn him invites to the Spartan-Athenian friendship picnic either. Still, the fact that this play survived and keeps getting banned, revived, and reinterpreted is its own kind of consequence. Comedy. This sharp leaves a paper cut on history. Should the play be banned, censored, or suppressed? Hard pass. If anything, Lysistrata should be required reading for anyone studying protest, gender, or the strange Venn diagram where humor meets rage. Yes, it's crude. Yes, it's messy. But its contradictions are the point. The play is both feminist and problematic, earnest and absurd, silly and serious. It holds a mirror up to society and then dares you to make eye contact. Rather than suppress it, we should teach it alongside the context it needs. Let students wrestle with its tension. Let audiences sit in that squirmy space between laugh and think. That's where the best theater lives. Final thoughts. Lysistrata is more than a dirty joke with a toga. It's a centuries-old mic drop. It asks us what we're willing to sacrifice to create peace, and whether sexuality can be wielded as a weapon. For someone like me, older, queer, and well-versed in protest, it's wild and, interestingly, a little comforting to see that even ancient Greece needed to laugh through its mess. And now, some 2,400 years later, government officials still get nervous when comedians hint at collective resistance, especially when it makes headlines before prime time.
Frankly, when you see stuff like this, I mean, look, we can do this the easy way or the hard way.
Lysistrata reminds us that satire isn't soft power, it's strategy. That a united front, whether through silence, boycotts, or even celibacy, can be louder than a stadium full of speeches. We tell ourselves we've evolved, that we're more tolerant, more enlightened, and yet, in a world where some men have branded their romantic rejection a political grievance and built an online subculture around involuntary celibacy, the idea of a strategic collective withholding still strikes a nerve. But if Aristophanes were alive today, he'd probably recognize the playbook. The names have changed, but the fear of a good punchline hasn't.